We will listen to Chrystia Freeland at the World Economic Forum talk about finances and how to recover from the pandemic with a panel of people. Let's have a listen what she has to say, and I'll give some comments as we go by. Let's have a listen.
This panel is really about how we're going to revive growth. Last year, growth was around 3%. This year, we're expecting around 2.8. That's a lot lower than the trend growth during the last 2 decades. We've been close to 4%. And that delta is not insignificant. That delta means that poverty is growing many places in the world, and we also see increased youth unemployment. So as you see, the theme of this panel is without trade and investment recovery, there is no real recovery. Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, Finance Minister, but before that, Foreign Minister, and then we were trade ministers together. And, once a trade minister, I think you still...
Also on the World Economic Committee, what she's on, and the Chinese Climate Change Committee, and also CBC reporter, and also a bit of loves to close bank accounts. So that's who she is. And it's amazing how they all know each other. Like, it's all one big happy family, and they seem so happy with each other, like at home.
Keep on your hard disk some of the very detailed negotiations. It's a very meticulous industry, to put it that way. Listening to Dr. Ngozi and also to Haldun now, and the bigger picture, Canada is an open economy. It's a G7 economy. Looking at trade and investments and revival of growth there, how important do you think it is? What are the measures we can take globally to do better? And what is Canada's contribution to this? And I also add those 3 questions, but you probably remember also Chrystia, she was given the task when Mr. Trump was president, and there was a new trade policies and also the renegotiations of NAFTA, and you maneuvered that through. And I guess that's a competence that is also possibly useful in the years to come. Over to you, Chrystia.
So I want to start with what was important about Monday. And what was important about Monday, January 8th, was the fourth.
You think she's going to give one of those answers where she just says, screw it, I don't care what you have to say, I'm going to talk about what I have to say, and do a lot of those breaths. Oh, thank you for the question there, and all that stuff. Let's have a listen what she does, because in Canada, that's what she would do. She would ignore the question and just talk about whatever you want.
Well, thank you very much, Borge, and thank you for the friendship between Canada and Norway. I know you're not here in that capacity, but it's a very important partnership for us. Look, Borge, you know Canada well, and Canada is an open economy. We are a trading nation. We're very proud to be able to say we are the only G7 country that has a comprehensive trade deal with every other G7 country, with Valdis, with Brian. I see Taro Kono of Japan. If we had a Brit here, with the Brits too. And we work hard to have strong trading relationships. We believe in them. It is also the case, as Ngozi and Khaldun have said, the environment in 2024 is very different than it was in 2015 when I became trade minister. And it is clear, I very much agree with how Khaldun framed it. There are sort of 2 dominant economic trends that have a bearing on trade and investment right now. One is a focus on supply chain resilience, and that is just a reality. After the shock that we all experienced during COVID with things shut down, our people are just going to demand a little more security in their supply chains. And then that was multiplied, as Khaldun said, by Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And, Valdis can speak much more, with much greater experience than I can. But we all saw in particular how that really delivered a huge shock to Europe, the dependency that they had.
So once again, she's not talking very much. And the pandemic, that was horrible with the supply chain. And then, it just has to bring it up Russia. I don't think that affected the supply chain in Canada at all, but she has to plug it. The war is important, and you need to pump billions to her little buddy over there in Ukraine. And basically, this guy over here knows more about it than me. So that's all the gist of I got it so far.
So supply chain
Let's keep going.
resilience, it's a reality, and we're all thinking about it in how we build our own trade relationships and also how we as Canada make a pitch to foreign investors. The other thing that's going on, and again, Khaldoon talked about this is a hugely transformative moment in the whole global economy. This is a hugely transformative moment in the whole global economy.
Let me guess, the opportunity, the amazing opportunity after the pandemic is green energy, and that we all should switch over to green energy. She has no concept of load, of where this material comes from, and about electric cars, how much they cost. She has no idea about freezing and the battery dies. She has no idea what she is talking about. The green jobs she's talking about, I think what they are kids planting trees in the woods, and they've been doing that for 100 years anyways. And shout out to the squirrels that have been doing it for millions of years and never get any recognition. Let's see if that's what she's going to talk about, this amazing opportunity. I feel like it's just an infomercial. Same thing she repeats over and over, just different, dresses.
I think that right now we're living through a moment which is comparable only to the Industrial Revolution itself in terms of the energy transition and the way we need to retool all of our manufacturing. That is huge. Canada's strategy, Borge, is to say, look at these two trends and let's see how we can use them to play to Canada's strengths. And our view is there's a lot that Canada can offer to the world in this moment.
Liquefied natural gas was the opportunity for Canada to give to the world and to Germany so they don't buy Russian energy, and to help her little home country too of Ukraine. And Canada and she ignored it because there was no business case whatsoever. So let's keep going.
We have the critical minerals and metals that you need to build a green economy. We have a lot of clean energy. 85% of our grid is already clean, and we are investing heavily in building more clean energy.
She is very true that clean energy is hydroelectricity, and Canada is blessed in some parts, like Ontario and Quebec, to have that water ability to do it. So it has been green energy, and it's been green for like 150 years. But that no one cares about that. Screw that. That doesn't matter. It has to be, you have to do the green energy starting 10 years ago, and then you get a gold award like Norway. Because Canada, screw it. They don't really care at all. That some do. Now, Saskatchewan can't, and Alberta can't. They don't have that kind of water hydro ability. That's why they use coal and nuclear over there. So it really depends where the location is in the world if you can benefit from hydroelectricity, i.e. water moving like a dam. That's what she's not saying. She's making it sound like it's a solar panel. And, Jamaica can start, you just use the waterfalls and have all the power, you want, or Switzerland or England. Just get all the dams and the water, all that water you have. Just use that energy, just like Canada. That is so false. Let's keep going.
We are a country that believes in manufacturing, has manufacturing know-how and capacity. And then you guys spoke about industrial policy. The thing that is new about industrial policy is we are developing our economies, growing our economies at a time when we also need to accomplish the green transition. And I spoke yesterday to a very significant international business leader who is also a big investor in Canada. And he said to me, all the countries in the world need to be very careful that decarbonization does not mean deindustrialization. I thought that was an extremely smart comment, and Canada is absolutely determined that decarbonization for us will mean more jobs, more growth, more manufacturing, and we recognize government needs to play a role to make that happen. So we've set up a $15 billion government fund run by professional investors from a Canadian pension fund. And I hope you know Canadian pension funds, they're geniuses, the best in the world. So we don't have my department manage the money. Sorry, you guys are very good too.
And the Norwegians are involved.
Norwegians also
is
good.
not bad
We're
either,
good.
huh?
No, but like, come on, the Canadian pension funds, they're great. My point is, we don't have government bureaucrats invest these $15 billion. We have professional investors do it, but their job is to fill that gap between to really de-risk for private capital. And that 15 billion is being invested alongside private capital to make projects work. And then we have put in place a system of investment tax credits, really to be comparable to the IRA. And we now have a suite of policies for the industrial transformation worth about $120 billion. So come invest in Canada. We believe that we have to hustle. We think this is a moment that, the cement is being poured for the new economy. And we really believe in being out there, talking to investors in the world and saying there's a lot of natural advantages Canada has, and we're going to help those advantages along with government policy. And then just to conclude, Borge, what I'll say, I liked your introduction. I liked the way you said it's really important that trade policies work for people. And that would be sort of my final comment, speaking for Canada. But really, I think this applies to the whole world. As we build our economic policies, whether they are trade policies or investment attraction policies or industrial policies, at the end of the day, the question we have to ask ourselves is, will this make the life of the people I represent better? Will it create great jobs that people can build a life on and have hope and optimism for the future with?
These are all typical scripted replies. No one really challenges her on anything because they don't really care. I want to see Stephen Guilbeault get up to one of these things with professionals and talk about it with real numbers, because I guarantee he would just fold like nothing. That's all. He got no facts whatsoever at all. So anyway, that's all Freeland had to say. That that it's a growing economy. Talk about the new transition, what a great opportunity all this struggle has been and shutting everything down and printing money. Now we can start doing green energy. We have hydro in Canada. That's green energy. I won't talk about the solar. We have the minerals, but they don't do anything with them anyways. For solar panels, I never heard of that. So anyway, that's all she had to say. Thanks, like, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.